Guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Monday, happy second recording. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as seasoned. I got a word for you. Tap in. So guys, I want to talk to you guys about 12 signs that God is about to bless you. Now here's the thing. Well, we know there's tons more. For the sake of time, I chose 12. Knowing me, I might add something else in there if it pings my spirit. But I'm going to probably do a part 2 to this. I don't know when, but I will. But here's the thing. These 12 signs. Okay, so we go from glory to glory. Or I say from level to level. We go from level to level, right? So what I'm going to start off with is like when you first answered that call, when you first heard God tell you, when your life started to transform because you answered the call. Then I'm going to circle back around and go down these same 12 for the individuals such as myself who are you're like in that Kairos moment. So you're waiting on open doors to certain levels in due season, because there's still levels in due season. So let's start. Okay, number 1. God starts to dry things up. I mean, absolutely dry things up. This can look like job loss. This can look like relationships just tanking. This can look like no desire. Whatever it may be, he starts to dry things up. Number 2, you are in a wilderness. You are lost. You are clueless. You are in the wilderness. All you know is that God tapped you and you're trying to just follow his voice and you don't know what's going on. You are absolutely lost and you feel like you're just fighting for your life like a little wild cat because you're in survivor mode and you ain't got time. Number 3, there will be a lot of relationships that fall off. A lot of people of all sorts. These can be family members. These can be friends. These can be lovers. But it's just like, and they start to fall off in different ways. Either like you guys may have grown apart or there's some type of strife that happened. Sometimes you can't even explain it, but you're just not even vibing with the person anymore. But one day you look around and it's like, wait a minute, just 2 months ago, right? My phone would be blowing up nonstop. And now it's like, I can't get nobody to answer their phone, right? Next, God will start killing your pride. And keep in mind now, I'm going right now based on when you first heard that call, because it's going to switch when I go back to the Kairos moment due season. He will start to kill your pride. This is hard for a lot of people because a lot of people, including myself, you don't like to ask for help. But God will literally start to kill your pride in a sense that he's going to strip you to the point where you have to ask for help. You're going to have to ask for help. And he's actually doing it for you, but he's going to start killing your pride in different areas. Number 5. You will be extremely tempted, yet the convictions will be just as strong of an urge to obey than the temptation is. So there's going to be a lot of things that's tempting you. These are going to be things that God already released to you when he tapped you. Like somehow he may just say, okay, I don't want you to mess with this person anymore. Or I don't want you to hang out here anymore. I don't want you. It's something he told you not to do. And so because you are in that fight or flight mode, like your flesh just wants to be settled some kind of way. So you just kind of want to go back to your comfort zone. So the temptation will come. The phone will ring. The very thing that God told you not to do is going to come back like a vengeance. But that conviction will as well. Whatever you do, do not touch the temptation. And let me just tell you, something about this time right here is almost like God is really testing you to see if he can really trust you before he elevates you. God will literally, I promise you, I witnessed this a couple of times. God will literally not wait until the last minute, but the last second. He will push you in a corner just to see what you're going to do. You're going to touch it or you ain't. And you're going to be like, well, I don't have a choice. What do you mean, right? That he will watch you and you will be sweating bullets. But whatever you do, don't touch it. and watch him come through in that very second. Number 6, you will start. Okay, so you may have been dealing with like a soul tie, or narcs, whatever you want to put in there, whatever, soul tie narcs. But before God tapped you, jeez, I had a flashback. You can leave this fool if you wanted to, right? You can leave this fool, this child of God, if you wanted to. There was something that just it was a soul tie, but you were so stuck. It was like quicksand. I mean, you're done. This is it. I'm not looking back. And 2 months later, you're right back in that foolishness, right? But there is something during this time where there's a grace, where God starts to loosening that grip. And it makes it easier. Not easy, but it makes it easier. But you still have to follow his voice and follow the convictions. Because let me just tell you, the same thing with the temptations, this will come back with the vengeance. So when you really start to pull away, when you change that number, when you, whatever God tells you to do, whatever the instructions are, it's going to come back with the vengeance. Now everybody want to go to counseling. Let's go to therapy now. Let's go talk to the preacher now. They want to do everything now, right? But now you have to literally obey what God is telling you. So your obedience is going to have to override your emotions. But there's something that when you just follow the voice of God and the convictions, it's almost like that soul tie starts to loosen like a shoestring, like you pull one side of this and it just starts to unravel. Yeah. Number 7. Excuse me. There's a good chance, and this is not for everyone, and everything is not, but get in where you fit in. You will ask to relocate. You will be asked to relocate. You will be asked to relocate, and you're not going to want to do it because it's almost like, Lord, I'm trying to keep my head above water here where I am right now. And I don't even know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm just trying to So he may ask you to relocate. Sometimes God will sometimes he'll bring you back, right? Sometimes he may ask you to relocate because he has to pull you away from all your distractions. So, and remember, this is still at the beginning, right? When you first heard the call. So he got to get you in a place where you're isolated so you can really, excuse me, I just not pollen, but something's knocking my allergies off still. But he has to get you in a posture where you can really hear. And it's hard to hear when you're around family and people who know you and everybody's pulling at you and all that stuff like that. So he may have to get you off into an unfamiliar place so he can really, really, really get you to a posture where you can hear and not be so distracted. And he may send you back after that. I experienced that. I relocated a few times and then went back, etc., etc. Number 8. You will start to lose. Oh, Lord. Let me just tell you. Woo! And if this is you want to definitely stay tuned for when I circle back around. You will start to lose a lot of physical things. This can look like your house, your car, your money, your edges, your hairline. You will start to lose a lot of physical things. These can look like repossessions. This can look like an engine blew on you. This can look like a house flooded. This can look like everything. You will start to lose a lot of physical possessions. And I didn't understand it at first, but then God gave me a revelation about that, like recently, actually, for somebody else. If you think about it, a lot of the things that you accumulated, house, cars, even a person, whatever, a lot of that stuff you accumulated before you answered the call. So you did it with your own will. You did it with, other things that may have just been involved that just was not the will of God or a part of God. So sometimes he have to rid you of all that stuff. And it's not that it's really bad stuff. Well, some of y'all probably got some bad stuff, right? It's not that everything is really bad. It just seems as if he wants everything pure. right? Where like the other stuff had like, some spirits in there and all that stuff. Like you got soul ties, so obviously like some stuff is going on, right? So I don't know. But he will rid you of everything. You'll wake up one day and you ain't got nothing. I mean nothing. But stay tuned, honey, because he's gonna bless you triple. Next thing. He will start to give you directions. Number 9. He'll start to give you directions. Random stuff. Random stuff. Like, go research this. Right? I want you don't know a lot about this, but I want you to go. You ain't got no money. You ain't got no car. So catch the bus and go to the library, local library or something, right? I need you to research this. He will start directing you, and it won't make sense because it's like, what? I'm sitting here broke. I'm sitting here. You want me to go to the library to do what? Whatever he's telling you to do it. He may say apply to this place, apply to that. Whatever downloads, just make sure that you do it, even when it doesn't make sense. Number 10, listen, all hell has just broken loose. It's major warfare. I mean, all hell has broken loose, and it's hitting you from every way. Financial, mental, emotion. I mean, absolutely from every angle. You don't know if you're losing your mind or your edges are both at the same time, honey. It's just like, woo! I think this is the time right here where a lot of the things that we as people experience, like growing up in survivor mode and things like that, for most people or a lot of people, this is that time to really get you through. Well, God gets you through. But, just strategic ways to get you through, where some people who've never really lived that kind of survivor mode lifestyle, like they don't really know what to do. Like I remember one time, I don't know if she'll hear this because she don't really be on YouTube like that. But one of my good friends, listen, I don't want to say she came from a privileged lifestyle because it really wasn't that, but she came into an inheritance at a very young age. And she called me one day, and the way she was panicking, like I thought like something really, really bad had happened. Because she's a very calm chick. I never heard her like that. And finally, when I called her back, because I heard the voice message, I was embracing myself that something bad had really, really, really happened. And this girl is losing her mind because she got a disconnect notice from the light company that her lights will be off at 5 o'clock the next day. And her world was coming to an end. I'm like, girl, you better burn some candles. Girl, go ahead and get your tubs of water. Girl, go ahead. And she's just looking at me like, Mackenzie, you don't understand. Like, this is like, I'm like, honey, see, this is why don't ever regret if you had to really ever like grow up in some, don't ever regret that, honey, because a day will come and those are the ways going to get you through, right? But yeah. So I hope she don't hear that. If she do, it is what it is. I ain't call her name. Number 11. God will start to convict you to press him more. And it's almost like during this time, I mean, you're not really, I mean, you haven't really, really dig in like that yet. So you're just kind of like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? What does precedent even mean? Matter of fact, what does it even look like to talk to God? People just say talk to God. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? How do I even get his attention? Right? So you got all these questions, right? But if you just settle, once you settle your spirit, and you don't have a choice because he already scripted you of everything. So you're settled, right? You're settled somewhere. You're probably somewhere in the park. You ain't got nowhere to live, right? But he's going to start downloading small little things in your spirit. He's going to start talking to you, or you start talking to him, and you're just going to be like, wow. So it's almost like your conscience or something, right? It's not so involved how it is once you get more spiritually inclined. But God will it's like he introduces himself to you. So whatever the little small things that you're hearing, that you're seeing, he might send a bird to just sit there and peck on your window while you're in the park. Like little things. Just pay attention to what he's doing because he's trying to get your attention and he's trying to introduce himself to you. And that's how it started. Well, that's how it started for me. Number 12. Listen. Y'all be emailing me about confidence, honey. Listen, honey. Number 12, the last one, your confidence will be to the floor. On a scale 1 through 10, 0. You have zero confidence. He stripped you. He stripped you of everything, right? And you're in the place where you don't know what he's doing, so you're lost. Like, you don't have a foundation. Like, honey, you look in that mirror and you be like, who the heck am I? Who is this, honey? Because I don't know what's going on. So your confidence is to the floor. All right, now let's circle back around. So to those of you who are you're starting out fresh in this thing, I hope this encouraged you to stick it through. Those of you who are in your Kairos moment currently, those of you who are already in due season currently, then I know you can vouch for a lot of these things. Back to number 1, those things that he dried up, like you just have no interest in hobbies or your job anymore or whatever. He has replaced these things with new entrants, like literally. Excuse me. So there's new things now that intrigue you. Things that would have never intrigued you before, like art or like whatever, right? But you have new things that intrigue you. Number 2, you're in the wilderness, you're lost, uncertain, and clueless. Well, don't get it twisted. You're gonna. It's a good chance you will hit a wilderness again. You're gonna hit a wilderness again. Let me just tell you, you're going to hit a wilderness again sometime throughout this process. However, the difference now is you're not lost and confused. In fact, you know exactly what God is doing and why he's doing it. But the wilderness now will be more or less about insight. He's giving you insight. God is God, so you won't know exactly what he's doing, but he'll give you some idea. You're not lost. Right? You're probably agitated because he's not moving, right? Or whatever the thing is, but you're not completely lost like how you were when you first answered the call. Number 3, relationships fall off with all kind of strife, people falling apart, just growing apart. But these people are now replaced. And granted, you have a couple, right? Who returns or who may have been there, throughout the time or whatever. But you got a whole new group of people. And let's be clear, it's not even a lot of people. That's what you're going to see too. That's different. If you're a person, that's not my portion. But if you're a person and you always have like a lot of friends or like a lot of people, right? Like you got like 15 girlfriends or whatever, you will see a complete difference on the other side. You might have a solid 2 or 3. Solid 1 or 2 versus 2, whatever. Solid, but very, 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 very few. And then it seems like they get more done just in the 1 and 2 than you can get done with 15. Number 4, killing your pride, saying you have to like go and ask for help or whatever. Now you are the help. Now you are the help. So see, he had to put you through that because now you can remember what it felt like. Like now, I guess it's probably the empath in me too. I don't even have to wait for somebody to ask for help. I already know it. I already feel it already. But then there's times where God was like, no, close your mouth. I'm going to make them ask, right? Because he has to do what he has to do. So you will still have to ask for help. But now you'll be happy to ask for help because the help is in alignment with people who want to help you. And it's just different. It's really different. But you are the physical help. He blessed you now to be able to help bless others. That's what purpose is all about. So all you selfish people, stay selfish and see how far you get. Number 5. Extremely tempted, yet you will be conviction to override the temptation. You you still gonna be tempted. You're gonna be tempted, honey, that you meet Jesus, right? But it's different. You're way more disciplined. You have, and let's be clear, it's not to say you won't slip, right? You're human. But the temptation, it's about different things now Well, maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. You just have more rule over it versus it just running you at one point. Where now you might get tempted, but boom, you're convicted, and you're like, oh, straighten up, get it back, girl, get it together, right? Right. So you have more control over the temptations, but you still will be tempted. Number 6, it was releasing the grip on the soul tie, honey. At this point, you looking back at yourself thinking, how in the world I even was tripping by this child? Seriously? Seriously? So now you're in a place where ain't no soul tie, honey. You got kingdom connections at this point, right? There's kingdom partnerships, right? There's kingdom spouses. There's kingdom people, right? So if it's a soul tie, if you want to use that word, it's because the souls are tied in a healthy way. I'll just say that. Number 7, you may be asked to relocate. In this season, there's a good chance that wherever he's relocated, not all, but wherever he's relocated you to, he may confirm you and tell you, okay, this is it. This is where I'm going to have you to do purpose at forever or just for quite some time. So wherever he's relocated you at this time, or he may relocate. I have a friend. It seems like she get relocated every year, right? Because she's kind of like in the missionary type thing. So she gets relocated a lot. So if he relocated you know clear as day. And I'll tell you this, if he pulled you from somewhere, you won't even have a desire to go back. You're just going back to check out your family and your friends or whatever, but you don't even have the desire to go back like that. Next one, number 8, start losing people. No, you start losing physical, tangible things. And now, child, you can't get rid of things. You can now give away things. You got so much physical things. Seriously, you got so much overload and so much overflow. God have already came back around and blessed you with and then the things you got now is 25,000 times better than the stuff you had. So he had to snatch it in order to give you better things. Number 9, he'll start to give you directions to do this, apply for this. Of course, that's still present without a doubt. But the difference now is it's elevated. Where now the things that he's asking you to do are telling you to, you do it with so much fearlessness and so much boldness. And these are things that back then you'd have been too fearful to do or too closed-minded to do, or you didn't have exposure to it, or don't think you were worthy or you deserve it or think you could ever achieve it. Where now when he's telling you to do things, it's just things over your head and you're just Lord, wait a minute now, hold up now, right? Because I still got some struggles over here. I know if I can do all this. And he girl, you better get it done in my strength. So he'll still tell you to do certain things, but the difference now is there's a boldness, and you already know from the things that you conquered along the way, and God taught you to see yourself the way he sees you, etc., 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 etc. Child, please. What time, God? What time you want me to go? Where I going? What you want me to say? Let's say it. Hey. I got a word for you. Ooh, child. Number 10. Major warfare. Well, listen. Listen. True story, the warfare is going to increase from then, right? Your warfare, and truth be told, back then, your warfare really wasn't warfare. You thought it was warfare because God was really stripping you, right? He was stripping you to bless you. So, but now, honey, woo, let me just tell you, you haven't experienced warfare until you climb some levels. You haven't experienced warfare until you've been knocking on due season in Kairos moments doors, honey. Listen, that warfare back then might have been about, somebody, I don't know, repossessing your car, or I don't know, somebody slept with your man or whatever foolishness. Honey, this warfare here, if you're not tapped in, your darn mind can slip from under your feet. Let me just tell you. Woo! But But throughout the process, God have already equipped you, and he already like really work on you and just give you that power. So now it's like, yeah, that warfare is elevated, but so is your power. So what you gonna do, boo? Don't try me, try your mama, point blank period, because I'm gonna rebuke you on sight. Move out my way. Cassie, okay. Last two. Number 11. Start to pressing more. Yeah, you're still going to be called a pressing more, but it's different now. Where remember before you're trying to like figure out if this is God coming through the bird and like God is introducing Himself. Now, honey, you know, oh, honey, you got a whole intimate relationship with God, honey. You know that you know that you know that you know. But you're still required to press it. In fact, you're required to press in even more now because you gotta stay pressed in. You gotta stay connected because the minute you don't, honey, you going right back. Let me just tell you. Because I had to check somebody last week, right? But you know, okay. Last one, your confidence is to the floor. Honey, now that confidence is to the sky. Let me just tell you, right? That confidence was to the floor then, but now that confidence will be to the sky because now you know who you are in God. God have loved on you so much that if you meet somebody and that loving, of course that love ain't going to be in comparison to how God loves you, but you get the point. You're not about to be sitting here playing with, letting people play with you all kind of way. Because you know who you are, and that confidence, honey, that light is going to shine everywhere you go. Point blank, period. That's why I say, you know, some people, and I get it, you know, everybody have a different calling. So in saying that, we all have different directions, different this, different that. But I don't have a problem going in quote unquote secular environments. Like, it's like, So you're saying if I go here, I got to like, no, I get the point that spirits can transfer, but if listen, you need to insulate yourself a certain kind of way before you go certain places. So you can be doing or seeing or whatever, that stuff listen, I'm good, right? You gonna still see this light. And trust me, if I start to slip and start to have too much fun, I get convicted, honey. God done knocked a whole champagne glass off my hand one time. A wind came because I started having too much fun. Literally a wind. I never experienced anything like it. A wind came and knocked the glass out my hand and shattered it to the floor. Sir, I got to go home. Have a good night. Period. Right? But I don't, and again, I get it. Some people are called like to church, like for real. So you can't even let people see you in a certain light because they're going to just really judge you, whatever. So that's not what I'm called to. I'm called to be in certain environments because really that's where God needs you at anyway, right? So people see your light. They're attracted to that light. It's something about you. Speaking of that, I had some old mud duck, some bottom feeder, just petty and miserable, who emailed me. No, she didn't even email me. She commented, and she said something in reference to the video I had with who was it? It was Teddy Riley, producer Teddy Riley. It was his birthday party actually. It was Teddy Riley, Keith Washington. And Keith Sweat, it was Usher, it was a whole bunch of people there. But anyway, make a long story short, Teddy Riley must have said a curse word. They all probably was cursing, I don't even know. So, obviously when I posted the video, they heard the cussing in the background, and honey, she sent me straight to hell. She sent me straight to hell, honey, because Teddy Riley was cursing and feeling good on his birthday. First of all, you're not going to tell me what to post on my page. That's point blank, period. Point blank, period. Right? Next, sit here and act like you don't curse. Miss Perfect, sit here and act like you don't curse. Next, cursing does not mean you don't know the Lord. Because let me just tell you about Teddy Riley, honey. Honey, We had a whole 30-minute conversation one-on-one in a quote-unquote secular environment. And let me just tell you, people don't even have to tell you they know the Lord. You feel it all. In fact, you felt it in my spirit first, right? Because spirits recognize spirits. Just because somebody quote-unquote curse, just because somebody is turning up a little too much on their birthday, doesn't mean that they're going to hell. You're going to hell if you ain't careful with all this judgment around here. Just because you miserable and petty, stay up off my channel. Right? Matter of fact, I think I blocked you, so I don't know. You probably won't even hear this. But anyway, guys, that is my 12 or 24 reasons or signs. Wrong phone. Signs that God